Kim Jong Un has offered Donald Trump an invitation to meet, and in that invitation, he also indicated that he will halt all nuclear missile testing. Now, this is an interesting development. We do know that South Korea and North Korea have been engaged in diplomatic talks, and that happened prior to the Olympics, and I guess those talks have continued. But this is a good sign. However, I feel skeptical about all of this. We'll see how this all turns out.
Apparently, Trump made the announcement and his staff was caught off guard, which
is typical Trump fashion.
Exactly. Right? Like they're probably, no, wait, hold on. We should think about what our responsibility. Oh, there he goes. Okay. Now, should Trump pull a Rodman and go to North Korea? Then he's not going to go to North Korea. But should they actually meet? I don't know. Look, I don't. There's two different sides here. One is I don't trust anything the North Koreans say. They're Trumpian. They say one thing, the next day they say the next, and it's all a bunch of stupid games, and it's really annoying. And they're not remotely trustworthy. The North Korean government, obviously. On the other hand, I believe in talking to your enemies. So the preposterous idea of and neocons always said this, and they still say it about Iran. We shouldn't talk to our enemies. Well, okay, but we could talk to our friends all day long. That's not going to help resolve any conflict.
That's right.
In order to resolve a conflict, you got to talk to your enemy. So yeah, I guess I would say do it, but with a lot of reservations and safeguards in place.
Well, the thing that concerns me is that we're talking about Trump, and he's the type of person who admittedly is not interested in national security briefings or briefings in general. And so he doesn't strike me as someone who is knowledgeable on the nuances of this very important foreign policy issue. But with that said, I do think that this is a considerable step up from what he was doing before, which was tweeting juvenile tweets and making fun of Kim Jong Un's weight.
Yeah, I wonder if you'll call him Rocket Man to his face. But actually, Anna, I hadn't thought about it that way, and that is a counterpoint to meeting. Because if the North Koreans are savvy, all they'd have to do is, oh, Mr. Trump, we did not realize how stunningly handsome you are in person.
That's exactly what I mean. I feel like Trump softens toward people who say nice things to him, who compliment him, who boost his ego. And Kim Jong Un is a terrible person, but he strikes me as a little smarter than Trump is.
But that's a really low bar.
It is a low bar,
okay,
yes.
Super low bar. And so if they come in and go, Mr. President, your hands are awfully large, he might go.
You know what? Continue with that nuclear testing.
But I'm not.
Big, beautiful nuclear tests.
He might literally come out and go, look, on the nuclear testing, he denied it. He strongly denied it, right? And so I think there's some good people, there's some bad people there, but there's some good people in the North Korean government. I mean, they've got some bad concentration camps and they've got some good concentration camps. So, you know what? Actually, a lot of the rest of the world might be missing an opportunity here. It is actually incredibly easy to rook Donald Trump.
Right.
And so
even with the issue of Israel, for instance, and building the settlement. So one day he's 100% pro-Israel. I'm going to name Jerusalem the capital of Israel. Boom, it's done. And then the next day he'll criticize Netanyahu over the settlements.
Yeah.
And so it really depends on who he's communicating with on any given day or in any given hour.
Or any mood that he has. And he could, if he was smart, he could use that as a negotiation strategy. He has no strategy. So Israel, their government, led by Netanyahu, who apparently is very corrupt, unsurprising. He's terribly right wing, got no interest in him, but he is a savvy guy. Nobody thinks he's stupid, and so he does the smart thing, which unfortunately a lot of countries could do if they had bad intent in negotiating with us. Whenever Trump says something that Netanyahu likes, oh, you want to move the embassy? Deal, done, thank you, all right? And he says something they don't like, you should get rid of the settlements. Just wait him out. Wait till tomorrow, and he'll forget about it. And then whenever he says something you like, I'll take it. Okay, so I hope the North Koreans don't do that to him, but at a bare minimum, at least we're talking, and it's an interesting offer. If you like this video, bless your heart. We got a lot more where that came from. We do a full show every day, Monday through Friday. Come enjoy it ad-free by becoming a member, tytnetwork.com/join.